no matter what I'm doing, whether I'm selling, whether I'm creating a system, a strategy, coaching someone, I'm always mastering the construction of words.
Welcome to the Jennifer J. Hammond Podcast. Jennifer is a licensed realtor, educator, speaker, and best-selling author. Jennifer's goal is to help you find your yay in every day.
Hello. It's Jennifer J. Hammond. Leo Simpson the third. No, he's Leo Simpson the second. Number two. Yep. He's here, and I'm just, oh my gosh, we have a magical friendship. But I want to say, we haven't known each other like for 20 years. But I gotta tell you, as soon as I met Leo, I was like, oh my gosh, this is one of those souls that you're so grateful to know. So, but let me tell you a little bit about him. He's renowned for his innovative management skills, empowering people at the level of their potential and revitalizing, which I think we need so much of, revitalizing the synergy between the two most pivotal areas of life. As a speaker, a leadership coach, business professional, and executive leadership expert, he's transformative in his insights, and he has a proven record in advising leaders to initiate and navigate change, which there's been so much change in the last few years, and then marry their vision with execution and drive significant results. So all of that was amazing big words. But Leo, we always love stories. So I'm hoping that you'll start by sharing your story. How did you get into this world?
I got into this world because I was forced into it. There's a long story, but I'll give you the short story. I would actually say it started with my mom back in middle school saying, "You're not going to be in the band, you're going to be in the choir."
What was that rationale? Why did she think the choir would make more money?
She never told me, but one of the things that I know is that while there's a little bit that I could do instrumental wise, the thing for me was my voice, like me singing and things of that sort. But really what I saw was that my mom understood that I needed to use my voice. And so I needed to be in an environment that wasn't just using my breathing, but something that caused me to be in front of people using my voice. And so that put me also in a position to speak as a young boy. I remember, just to give you an example, I always tell the story of how there was a national conference every year for the denomination, the Christian denomination I grew up in. My grandfather was a very influential person in that denomination, especially for one of its ministries. And so we kind of had to be there. It's kind of like, people talk about you get drugged to church. I was drugged. And so
there was no saying no.
Yeah, there was no saying no. But I really saw the influence of people, a lot from that level. And so we go to this one summer conference, and it actually happened to be in Houston where we live. And I wanted to have a good time, hang out with the children, go hang out with my friends who were there at the conference, hadn't seen them in a year, probably, all of that. And my mom signs me up for a math competition. I'm like, all right. Now, first of all, I was good at math. I mean, I got a bachelor's degree in accounting, so that kind of speaks to it, right? My dad has he had an electrical technology degree. So math was a huge thing for us, just so you know.
Yeah.
So she signs me up for this math competition, and I'm like, man, I ain't here for that. Well, I go in and I do it because she already signed me up for it, and I won. I won the competition, and I just did what I was supposed to do, but I won the competition. And so that gave me a platform to be in front of people at, going into the 5th grade. It was at the 5th grade level. And so standing in front of those people and them asking me questions and stuff like that, I had already been groomed for it for a number of years, singing, talking, and all that kind of stuff. And so ultimately, speaking, teaching, being in front of people, it just became my thing. And really, it is my thing. It's a part of who I am. And so when you go through that laundry list of everything you mentioned from the bio, being a business professor for a local community college, being a professional itself, all of it really comes from decisions that my parents made to put me in the right environments. And sometimes I didn't think they put me in the right environments, but I can just tell you, God knew they did. So we take it for what it is. So how you and I met is because it was a speaking thing, and so no matter what I'm doing, whether I'm selling, whether I'm creating a system, a strategy, coaching someone, I'm always mastering the construction of words. And so the main thing that I get in a value as it pertains to even how we met is that moment, that experience, those 3 days, which we'll probably talk about if you bring it up. It was a pivotal moment for me, which gave greater clarity in why I need to speak and why I have such an ability to command the construction of words. So ultimately, it started with my mom putting me in the choir and not the band, even though I wanted to be in the band.
Which is, I think, such a funny story. They want to be in the band rather than the choir. Because I also think so often we discount how powerful our voice is. And one of the reasons that obviously I just admired you from the moment I first heard you speak. And we were doing, our speaking, we had to speak, I think we had like 2 minutes or something. We had a really short
Yeah,
time
yeah,
to really convey a story and a feeling. And I think one of the things that is so most important to me, I love, and you probably have heard Maya Angelou's quote about, people may not remember your name and they may not remember what you did, but boy, they remember how you made them
yeah,
feel.
absolutely.
And that Leo, for me, Leo Simpson the second, that
Come on
reminds
now.
me of how I felt when you were speaking. I remember thinking, wow, you and I felt like the whole room kind of faded away, and I feel like, see, there's others like me, you know, like we haven't known what to do all the time, but we had moments that are similar that connect us. Because so often, if you look at people, or it's so easy to just. I remember, like when I remember one time meeting a guy and talking to him on the phone. He was doing a bunch of real estate stuff. We are doing really high level, multi-million-dollar real
Yeah,
estate stuff.
yeah.
And then as soon as he met me, he goes, "Whoa!" And I said, "What?" And he goes, "Not what I was expecting you would look like." And I said, "Okay,
Is
I'm
that
not
good?
really sure. Is that good or is that bad?" And he goes, "No, no, no. It's an improvement." He goes, "You're just so happy and so bubbly. I was sure you had ice blue eyes with blonde hair that you've been bleaching since you were 15." And I was like, "What?" Okay, now I definitely think that was an insult. And I think it's so funny because so often people, they just look at the surface or just a little bit and they forget to, like, how do our hearts connect? How do our
Yeah,
stories connect?
yeah, yeah.
You know?
You know, the most pivotal moment for us, or the most pivotal moment behind our meeting was, me being at the 10x stages workshop was a lot of, monumental things. For one, it was, my birthday week. My birthday was, I think, on that Wednesday or Thursday or something
Yeah.
like that, one of the two. And I really felt when I left from Houston to go to Florida that I was going to get a gift that would keep giving forever for me. And the gift that I got was those those answers to those two questions that we focus on, those two clarity questions. What problem do you solve and who do you solve the problem for?
Right.
And to be honest, you talk about how I made you feel. I didn't really know I made people feel the way you felt until you and others told me, in this sense that what I was doing was really uncomfortable. Like I had just
Mhm.
come to clarity of my clarity that I had been trying to figure out for 10 years, right? I had been trying to
Right.
figure out for 10 years, what problem do I solve? Matter of fact, I even fought the idea of a niche. Come on, man. I'm the greatest advocate of a niche today, right? Because when you know who you are, my mom used to say this: when you know who you are and whose you are, like nothing else matters. But it's deeper than that. It's like when you know who you are, whose you are, but also you know what you're supposed to do and for who you're supposed to do it for and why, man, it changes the game. So, I remember I was in Dallas at the Speak Off preliminaries, and so that's kind of one of the reasons I ended up being a part of the 10x stages workshop, because I saw that, what helped me get to the preliminaries and successfully, move to the next level in the semifinals was the training. It was the preparation. So I was like, well, I know I'm going to get value from this that I can take with me forever regardless. But if I'm going to have a chance at this speak off competition, I need to get the same thing I got from the same people that gave it to me, who put this thing on, right? That's how I looked at it.
Right.
So I get there and had no clue that they were going to take us through what they took us through. But when I was there and was able to call Pat Quinn, while we were working on answering those two questions, hey, Pat, I need some help.
Yeah.
That was a huge moment for me because I had intended to actually do that workshop online.
So different.
But one of the advisors said, listen, man, like, I get you, but there's some things you don't get unless you're in the room. And because I was in the room, I was able to ask Pat Quinn a question, and he helped me to figure out this right here. So what problem do I solve, right? Well, and then, who do I solve it for? I said, Pat, I think that maybe I should start with who rather than what, because if I start with who, maybe it'll help me understand the what. And so I said, I like the idea of starting with where you are. I said, well, that's been an issue for me because, like, I'm a family guy and then I'm a professional guy. And it's like, I guess I can put them together and say, I focus on professionals with families. He was like, okay, sounds great. I was like, that was too easy. I was like, I've been trying to figure this out for 10 years. And so he said, so when it comes to the problem you solve and the people you solve that problem for, the professionals with families, like how would they describe that thing? What are they saying? It's like, well, they're always frustrated with, their family life, though they're cool with their business life. It's like business is just working. It's just doing its thing. But then on the other side, it's like family is just crashing and burning. And so I kept writing. I was like, oh, I solved the problem with family life crashing and burning. Huh. Well, business life is thriving and vibing, right? And so what I realized, and you talk to my advisor and stuff after that, they had that process for us. And he was like, man, I don't think you see it. It's deeper than that. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, no, this is really a deeper problem for just professionals in general, which that's good. But you got to understand, this is a problem for CEOs, business owners, executives. And it was crazy because he didn't know my master's degree is in executive leadership. Like, I specialize in, I was sitting there like, huh, okay. And so I came away from that workshop and I found myself in a position to where literally that's one of the clarities that put me in a place to then move in the direction of actually pursuing being an adjunct professor at the community college level. That was one of the things that contributed to that. So now I could be full-time if they have an opportunity, but I got a business to run, so I can't really do both, right? But I still get to make a difference in influencing that business mindset, that family mindset through that professional connection, right? Well, here's what happened. As a result of that clarity, yes, I was pursuing stages. Okay, this is a stage right here with Jennifer Hammond. Oh, yeah. You know what I'm saying? This is a stage, right? But here's the thing. I came to understand that one of the ways that I have to help business owners, CEOs, executives eliminate family life crashing and burning is also making sure that I'm helping them identify and create solutions for problems that they really don't know how to solve, right? And so I've spent 4 years, in an apartment community as a community coordinator, serving the apartment property management, serving the residents, doing events monthly, like creating a lot of value, bringing vendors to connect with our residents and residents to connect with the vendors, all of that. And that's a unique solution to be able to be in that position and provide value to 3 different layers. Like, you're providing value to the economy altogether, but you're providing value to families, you're providing value to professionals, you're providing value to the property. Like, it's all of that. And I started seeing, like, I'm really creating value in eliminating family life crashing and burning through how I infuse value into the marketplace, right? And so as a result of these last 4 years, I've had this solution that I've created with regard to weekly food trucks monthly for our apartment community for the last 2 years. I'm talking about we've scheduled over 80 food trucks.
Wow.
We've engaged over 2,000 residents, meaning over, like, it's a conservative number, was just our over 2,000 have engaged with the food trucks. And these food trucks over the last 2 years have conservatively brought in revenue of over $40,000, right?
Wow.
And it's been so valuable for even the property management team because they've been able to use that in their marketing. Can't tell you how many people love the idea that there's weekly food trucks monthly. It's like, cool. Well, we ended up creating a solution to then market that to more than just this one community that I've served. And so we're working to bring in 50 new apartment communities to provide service to them to experience that same value of weekly food trucks monthly. But here's the powerful thing. As a result of that, we're going to be marketing to the residents this particular service. We're going to be marketing to their property management team, the value that they're getting on a regular basis. But what's going to happen? We got professionals on the resident side and some CEOs, business owners, executives, but also on the management side, you got professionals, CEOs, business owners, and executives. Then on the food truck side, you got professionals, CEOs, business owners. Everybody that we're serving falls into that category of CEOs, business owners, and executives at the specific and at the general professionals with
And
families.
and let me interrupt just for a second to say,
Sure.
a lot of my audience is real estate investors and real estate agents. Again, those are business owners and they are entrepreneurs and they are executives. And all of what you're just saying, it pertains because I was thinking right at this moment, somebody's probably going, what? How did this take a left turn? Are we talking about real estate? Yes, because as a
Yes.
real estate agent, and that balance of what you were talking about that is so important, and not having your whole family life crash and burn, not only as a real estate agent, because as real estate agents, we are like, immediately on the phone, hey, I'm here for you, and it feels like 24-hour days, 7 days a week for our clients. But also
Mm-hmm.
as a real estate investor, it's the same thing. You're just like,
Mm-hmm.
you can just crash and burn your family life if you don't understand how to balance those things and really be excited about it and not, again, you're doing great in business, but you're doing terrible in
Yeah.
family life, or all of a sudden family life is doing great and then business just crashed, and that happens so often with real estate agents. They're constantly, and real estate investors, they
Mm-hmm.
talk about being
Mm-hmm.
on that roller coaster. So
Absolutely.
very,
So
very
so
important
let
you're
me give
talking
you
about.
something real quick. I know we're coming up on our time, but I got to give you some few things. I got to give you these nuggets, okay?
Yes, give us the
So
nuggets.
So I'll give you there's this concept that I call the trilogy of transformation related to family life
Oh,
and business life, right?
I love
And
that.
so there are three layers of success, and I'll give you these three layers, but then I'll give you like the bullet points of them so that your real estate investors, your real estate agents, your brokers, your people who are really out there making it happen in the contracting world, they can know, okay, this is not just about is family life in existence, is business life in existence. There's a way you got to think about it, right? There's a
Yep.
mindset that influences the mechanics, right? Okay,
Yep.
so watch this. The first thing you got to understand about family life and business life as to why it crashes and burns and business life thrives and vibes is that we have three misleading beliefs. That's the first trilogy. We have three misleading beliefs. The second thing is once you address these three misleading beliefs, then you have the awareness of the three accurate beliefs. And you cannot get to the accurate beliefs unless you agree that these misleading beliefs are literally a problem, right?
Right.
But once you deal with them and you overpower those misleading beliefs with the accurate beliefs, you can't just stay there, which is why
Right.
it's a trilogy, right? It's a trilogy because you got three layers, but also in each one of them, there's three things, right?
Yep. It's
So
three, three,
watch
three.
this. 333, all right? So what you've got to see is once you overcome the misleading beliefs with the accurate beliefs, You can't just stay there, because that's like a person who knows what to do, but they're not doing it. That don't help you.
Nope.
You can say all you want to, I know, but I know if you're doing it, right? Well,
Right.
how do you then do it? Then you access the master keys to achieve family life, business life, mastery. All right. So, first thing, the overarching concept is this: we've got to know that family life and business life were meant to be teammates, not opponents.
Oh, I love that. They're not meant
How
to
do you
be
get there,
teammates.
though? Family life and
Yeah.
business life were meant to be teammates, not opponents. But how do you get there?
Yep.
Well, first you got to say, okay, so what is it? How are they opponents? It's in the misleading beliefs. The first misleading belief is believing that we can achieve balance. We cannot. The reason we cannot is because balance is the wrong measure for family life and business life, because they're not designed to be shifted like this. They can't.
Right.
You cannot spend equal amounts of time, energy, and effort in family life and business. It's not possible. It's designed that way. But here's what we can do. We can spend so family life is designed to where you spend more quality time than quantity. Business life is designed where you spend more quantity than quality, because life sources in family life, life sources needed by business life. Okay. Huge. All right. So first thing is, balance is not possible. Okay. If balance is not possible, then what is possible? That's in the accurate beliefs. We'll get there. The other thing is trying to make one more important than the other. They're not. They have equal importance. They are pivotal together in their unique function, right? They're supposed to do something a certain way. Then the last one is thinking that there is no clarity about them, that there's no connection there, that there's no synergy between them, right? So believing that they are able to be balanced, that's not good. Thinking that one is more important than the other, and not knowing the relationship between the two, right? Those are the three misleading beliefs, right? Or believing there is no relationship between the two.
Right.
But what's the accurate beliefs? Okay, so if you can't achieve balance, what can you achieve? Believe that you can and should achieve flow. And you do that by taking them off of a scale and putting them on the continuity structure to where they flow into and out of one another. All right.
I love that. Yeah.
Then when you get them, and a lot of this is mindful work. This is, you got to think this way so you can do it this way. But a lot of times we don't even think about it this way, right? So then once you create flow, then it's easy to make fuel between the two, meaning to make them fuel one another. One is not more important than the other. One must fuel the other, right?
Yeah.
And then when you make them flow, cause fuel to take place, then you focus them, meaning you understand their relationship, that they are interdependent, not independent, not dependent, but interdependent. They depend on one another, though they have independent function. So you get those two together, it's like you can breathe. But then what do I do after I know this? You've got to deal with the master keys: treasure, translate, trust, right? And so what that really means is, when you treasure, translate, trust, you have to treasure that which is predictably productive all the time, right? And you got to treasure what's going to allow you to keep your flow, keep your focus, keep your fueling, right? You got to treasure that. Then you got to translate, meaning we have more success in business than we do in family. So the success principles in business, which actually came from family, but we don't use them like that, you actually translate the truths into family life, and the way you excel there, you make sure they connect with the dynamics of family, and you'll start to see the results. And then trust, meaning build the confidence by the treasure and the translation. So you take all of that, and I go into more detail in my content, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but I wanted to give you this perspective that the reality is, this is the power of clarity. Those two questions that I answered at 10X Stages workshop. What problem do you solve? Who do you solve it for? It created the unleashing of a mastermind, a monstrous, magnificent momentum of mindset transformation for everybody, to where the solutions that we really need to provide individually to the world are so valuable. And I'll tell you this, and I'll give it back to you. I've been saying this lately. I hate poverty. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Why? Because the definition of poverty, or a definition you can say, is expecting value for no one other than yourself. You can have a mansion on the water, but if you're expecting value for no one other than yourself, you are in poverty. I don't care how much money you got. So what's the opposite of poverty? Obviously, it's wealth. I love wealth. What is wealth? Creating value for someone other than yourself. That's the power of knowing what problem you solve, who you solve it for, and being absolutely engaged with that.
I want to say, preach it, Leo. Preach it. You're preaching to the choir with me, but I think, oh my gosh, you have so many pearls of wisdom. Like I said, when I first met you, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to have you. And I'm going to have to say, we have to have you back because we're out of time. So I want to make sure that people know how to get hold of you. They can find out more about your content, social media, anything you want to share.
Absolutely. You can go to team, TEAM, the number 3, capital L.com, team3l.com, and it'll give you access to all of that.
Which is perfect. 333. And see, that's why I think you're Leo Simpson the third, but you're only Leo Simpson the second. You've come early. You've come early, Leo.
I come early. Okay. Before my time.
Before your time. See, that's what it is. Oh my gosh, I could go on and on. You're coming back for sure. Okay. But we have to lift our voices and celebrate with a yay as we go off the air. Are you ready?
On. Let's do it. Let's do
3, 2, 1. And anyone who didn't see that, if you're hearing this, you have to watch that when you see Leo's face. Oh, you are such a blessing. Thank you, Leo.
Hi, I'm Jack Canfield. You may know me as